Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with Duty, and I'm about to bring you the reality, baby. Now, mind you, I was over there minding my own business, which I do quite a bit. Well, not all the time. Well, sometimes I mind my own business, but today I wasn't minding my own business. So, I saw Kenya's like twirls on, and then I was over there watching Porsha, and she was getting her just dues with her little divorce, y'all. Baby, when I tell you the tea is hot coming out these Atlanta streets about that show, and it's about the show like, wow, it's things that's coming out that, you just wasn't expecting out of Bravo bunch. They really doing, they on they love and hip hop tip. Now, y'all, let me ask y'all something. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. Did y'all really think that we were gonna be getting all of this? All of this? Shout out to Giselle and Robbie. You remember Robbie lived in that little townhouse. And Giselle went over there, and Giselle was like, now I'm still rich. Now I'm living off my husband's alimony. So let me big up my friend, even though she's living in this little tiny townhouse. Hey, Robin girl, you did all of this. Or, well, Wendy went over there. And they were trying to say that Wendy was jealous of or hate on that Lego built house that Giselle was living in. What did it say? Jealous? Hating? On this? On this? Oh, baby, and people be calling Wendy wet. Wendy can read the girls. Y'all just be sleeping on Wendy. But anyway, y'all, as I said, and a little bit of extra tea, right? Because I throw in Tamar and her mess and all her messes, right? So, whose side are y'all on? Because it's Tamar. Okay, let's do Tamar. Tamar versus her sisters. Tamar versus Vince. Tamar versus Candy. Tamar versus K. Michelle. Tamar versus Lonnie. Tamar versus Jenny. Are we noticing a pattern here? Are we noticing a pattern? It must be Tamar. Okay? So I was watching my girl Jade on the rocks over there. I've already told her, but she may not pay attention. But she went to Jackson State, so I always get down with the Jackson State girls. Okay, and she had the audacity to say, "Now I'm batting my eyelashes real hard at her. She young though, so she don't know. She don't know about the real R&B girlies." And she had the nerve to say that Tamar BRAXTON sings better than K. Michelle. Yeah, I'm about to break it on down to y'all like this right here. Every time somebody is more pop than someone else, that does not mean that they are the better singer or the better performer. I made that clear the other day about Beyonce. I'm always impressed with Beyonce's overall entertainment skills, but Beyonce will never, ever harken back to the days of true and R&B with the girlies like Deborah and Jill, Mary, Erykah Badu. No, ma'am. Performances overall, yeah, She'll be in there with Tina and Janet and Beyonce. I put them over there. But when I want to hear singing, I'm going with my girl Selena Johnson, Deborah Cox, Whitney, of course. Them girls over there. They different. Kelly Price. Even though when I tell you I can't stand Kelly Price. Nope. But I'm a fan of that throat. We talking about the throat. The throat skills. And for me, K. Michelle got the throat. Does she sing better country music than Beyonce? Hell to the damn yeah. Forever and a day. But Beyonce had the marketing behind her. And let's keep it real, even though K. Michelle is now a light-skinned white woman, colorism plays a factor in all of this. We have to understand that I don't care how many times you got Solange over there hearkening to the West African girlies, our Oshans and our Oguns and our spiritual goddesses, right? From our African roots. Beyonce is where she is primarily due to her color. Talented? Yeah, she's talented. She can work hard and she works hard. But we're not going to act like all that's not about the pleasing of the aesthetics. When people literally can get on TV and tell you, because Erica had the audacity to say that some things Beyonce copied her on, that Erica could never, Erica can, and Erica did. Same thing with Khalees. Can and did. Y'all, she's not above reproach. She can be challenged. And I know that the girls out there in the Beehive will never understand the appreciation for just the music and the throat and the sound. Not because somebody can get up there and twirl their asses for an hour and be entertained. We have to admit that what Erica said was not a total lie. When Beyonce gets out there and does things that people consider unique and different, somebody has already done it. Trust me when I tell you that. Believe me when I tell you that. So she does things that emulate other people just like everybody else. That's a part of the industry. But I said all that to say, when it comes down to complete raw talent, please tell me y'all not comparing Tamar Braxton with K. Michelle. K. Michelle can sing better than all other Braxton. Wrap them up and put them in a nice little bow. But you know, I'm going to surprise y'all. The better singer out of all of the Braxton sisters to me is Trina. Trina is my actual favorite singer. Tracy was my favorite. But as far as singing with the throat, that's going to be Trina for me. And when I gave you that list of women and the patterns that Tamar has, y'all, at some point you have to say, and you have to evaluate yourself and say, it just may be me. don't think that K Michelle and Tamar will ever come to a point where they have some kind of resolution. And it's okay. That's just like with the rap beefs. Everybody wanted Tupac and Biggie to come back together. They never did. I blame Puffy. I blame him for everything. And now that I've gotten deeper and realized just how cunning and how dirty he is, I realized that that was a marketing scheme set up by Puffy to come to us with the bullshit. That literally caused us to be divided as a country over rap music. It was insane. You had to be there. If you were not there during the West Coast, East Coast rap beef, yeah, that was a serious time. I was in college, working my first job, listening to people coming into the mall because I was working in the mall, and it was this record store in the mall, and I cannot remember the name of that record store for anything anyway, but it was big. And I'm not talking about Bebop Record Shop. Bebop Record Shop was big in Mississippi, but this was like a global national record store, and it like they had a huge store in the mall where you can go in and just like listen to samples of the albums or whatever. You would literally see guys in there, especially black guys in there, listening to headphones and them talking about the East Coast, West Coast beef, and literally having basically disagreements. I mean, you had headphones on. What you listening to, man? What you listening to? I'm listening to Big. I'm listening to Pop. I'm listening to RZA and Wu-Tang. It was a mess. It was real, and then they had pulled in some ways they had pulled fingers into it. Pulled Lil' Kim, Faith Evans, all that into it. And I said all that to say that it's gonna be times when I just don't believe that K Michelle and Big Head Goofy Tamar are gonna come to a resolution. But where K has her little dalliances and her ghetto beefs, none like with Tamar. And I'm just gonna say, in all reality, I have to, if I had to say, even though I do believe that K Michelle started the beef, cause K was in an interview with Cam Newton. And I think the beef actually started with those girls, that little clique of girls in the ATL that were cool with Toya. And they decided that K Michelle was not telling the truth about Memphis. I think that's where it all started. So if we go back though and look at things with that little clique of girls, Tamar has fallen out with those young ladies. I don't know if she and Rashida were ever friends like that, but they definitely probably were friends through association. But I can tell you this, I don't think Tamar is cool with Toya. Sometime Tanya. I keep saying Tanya. Sometimes I'm getting my retainers in. It's sometimes between Toya and Tiny. She vacillates back and forth between them, but I don't think she's cool with them anymore. That whole little clique that was against K, I think at this point are no longer cool with Tamar. I will say this: if you are the type of person that Tamar is, and let me throw my psychology skills in here because you know how I do. If you are in that little clique of women, I suggest that, and if Tamar wants any type of peace, Tamar just may have to be the type of person where she has to keep to herself. To round this all up, I'm sick of Tamar. I'm team K Michelle. And as far as talent and singing goes, I'm team K Michelle. I hope K Michelle gets her country career off the ground. That's what she wants. And I have always been like really supportive of that. It's just the only thing I don't like about Kay is like I don't think you have to over exaggerate the country. You could tell that you sing country music without adding all the on the end of it. That's for me. That's the only problem I have with her. But other than that, she would be a great country artist, and she wrapped that lady up real tight and put it in a nice little bow when she told her so. No one knows that you sung country. Everybody knows I sung country, bitch. I went to school for yoga. Oh, next on my agenda, let's talk about Porsha and Simon. Child, Simon went back over there to his regular country, child. And let's talk about what Porsha was, her salary, and what she's going to get in the divorce. So Porsha quit all of her jobs. The word on the street is allegedly. And then remember, everything is alleged in my opinion. Hit the like button, share the video. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that I can use these things as commentary as long as I critique and use it as my own personal commentary. Now, most of these things I got from Us Weekly, so let me cite my sources. I forgot to do that at the beginning of the video. And then I did shout out Jada because the whole beef between K. Michelle and Tamar I got from her channel, or her discussing it on her channel. And shout out to Kenya and her hair. Kenya more hairstyle. Okay, so what Porsha is going to get? Okay, back to her salary. So apparently Porsha was getting anywhere from $1 to $2 million a year, and only a $40,000 allowance monthly to be married to Simon. Sayamel. Now, my thing about Sayamel is, how's he getting his money again? I know he's supposed to be like a big time petroleum dealer, and the minerals are mineraling in Nigeria, but he married this woman for 15 months. What was the last straw that broke the camel's back, though? I mean, if he really was a millionaire, he had $300 million, but it was the scam and the schemes. If he's a young scammer from back in the day, how in the hell? I mean, you Porsha fans, I know y'all know. Excuse me. How he gonna pay that lady? Because she's supposed to get her continual alimony for the $40,000 a year. She got the home, which is valued at $7 million. The $7 million home. Let's wrap this up, okay? The $7 million home. The only way I can see Porsha being able to pull this off is if she sells the home. I don't see any way possible that even with her making the $1.2 million, because I'm pretty sure she got that coming back in, I don't see any way possible for her to actually, keep that up. Because the home still has a mortgage on it. And even though she was awarded her $40,000 in alimony monthly, I don't think that's enough to pay for that mortgage on that house. Even though they didn't break down a list of what the mortgage was, usually a home like that for $7 million. Because I've heard my friends with $1 million homes, I've heard them say they spending like $900 to $1,000 a month rent, and that's in Mississippi, and that's a lot for Mississippi because you can get a $300,000 house in Mississippi and living like you in a damn mansion. So I'm kind of like Okay, my friend the other day, he said that his house is worth $385,000, and he said that his his mortgage is gonna be like $635, and that's with good credit and him being in the military. So I can only see that mortgage at least being anywhere from 10 to 15,000 for a $7 million home. And even with the $1 million salary, that's yearly. That's not a monthly salary. So I don't see her being able to just keep that up. That's just my opinion on that. Also, she gets to keep the Rolls Royce valued at probably like anywhere from $250,000 to $300,000, but it is an older model. She keep and sell the car, but that's still not going to put anything towards the mortgage. So at some point, either gonna have to sell the house, or Simon is gonna have to continue to pay the mortgage. And I don't see him being able to continue to pay the mortgage. He all the way deported. And no ifs, ands, buts about that. Mr. Goodbye, yada, 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 is in his home country, sitting over there making statements saying that he wants to talk to Trump. Trump is the man that wants you out this country, dude. Okay, so real quickly, I want to talk about deportation. And our support of the Latino community. And this is why I say I'm minding my own black business. I say I'm minding my own black business because they did vote against their interest. The man said what he was going to do. And as far as black people being deported to Africa, why are we worried? We are a little different than the Latino population and these people that's being picked up out of their homes and deported. Hey, we're scared they're gonna get us confused with Haitians and other international black people that come to this country, Jamaicans and people that overstay their visits and stuff like that. Trust me, it is definitely a difference between us and the brown people, and that's just what it is. Our worries are completely different than theirs. Because even though our citizenship is through slavery, our citizenship is our citizenship. Our citizenship is no different than Caucasian people's citizenship who came here from Canada or Great Britain or Quebec or Canada or whatever. Our value to the economy is still the same what it was 300 years ago as it is 300 years ago to this day. That's why we can sit back and say we're minding our own black business. It's not that they're going to be able to tell because for some reason Caucasian people don't know how to distinguish people of different ethnicities and nationalities. But that's not our worry. That's not our concern as black people in this country. We have citizenship through slavery, and even though through slavery we only consider 3/5 of the person, our bloodline is still there for that, and our value to the economy is still that. Our value to the economy came through slavery. That's what makes us a staple in this country. So it'll be very, 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 very hard for them to round us up and deport us back to Africa. And that's just what it is on it. Very hard. So my worries are not their worries. Okay? So let's get into Kenya Moore. Y'all, Kenya Moore did a life tour song. Child. I'm so proud of Kenya. Kenya looked really, really nice in that damn video, didn't she? Now, what I want to talk about is Kenya's issues with Britt and the rest of them. If Kenya sat back and never did another show, she would be good. She could sit back and watch this thing play out, which is what I want her to do from this point going forward. Do I want her to continue to do live tutorials on that in that little pretty backdrop in that pretty spot? Yes. But at the same time, let's keep it real. Kenya said some things. Kenya said some things that was really weird to the people. She said people were stalking her. I believe her. Michelle Doodle Brown. That's why she wants, Michelle ATL and Doodle Brown wants us to back her because she's a woman and she got into it with Funky. Right? And while Funky has said some problematic things and he told that lady house, still with the information that I have throughout that whole situation, I have to side with Funky mostly, because Doodle Brown is very annoying, very irritating, and very, very much up Nene's butt. She can call out other women for being colorist and this, that, and the third, and then I feel like I'm supposed to support her in that area, but when all actuality, she acts as a jealous bitch. Oh, did I say that out loud? Yeah. She's not really supportive of women. She's supportive of a woman. And while I could be on a movement with her about, her not liking women who are colorists, it's the way she goes about it that makes it very different than, say, for example, a Erica De Niro or a Bondi Blue. These women right here are supportive of other black women in the colorist movement, in my opinion. She just misses the mark so terribly, the way she comes off in it. It seems so disingenuous and thrown together. How you gonna sit up here and try to tell us about colorism dealing with Claudia and Eva, and then you hanging with Nene, and she over there looking like a rich white woman? If you were on the colorist movement, you could tell Nene, girl, stop putting that shit on your skin, making yourself look biracial. Okay? And the way she goes in on Candy, I mean, you cannot like Candy. I always say people cannot like Candy, but damn, do something different. Just like with Tamar. Anyway, the point is, Kenya called them out, and then she called out the House of Aaron. Now, the House of Aaron, my thing with him is he's very, very, he'll say things like he's against colorism and the movement, and all that type of stuff. But at the same time, if it don't really benefit Porsha, then it don't benefit him. And anything that he can find on anybody else that don't benefit Porsha. But where I see this going down the wrong path is, I could say this about Kenya. Real fans can critique Kenya. And Kenya, you shouldn't be on her show telling us what we can't critique and us making $1 off her. And if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be making $1. Now we're going to talk about entertainment. That's what a lot of YouTube content creators want to do. That's why I got into it, because I want to talk about entertainment. So I created my own channel so I could talk about entertainment and make my own entertainment points. You can't tell people how to move in this space, where I do understand what she's saying, though. Get up off my back. Don't harass me with it, though. Don't come in here making damn false ass claims about my place of business and making up damn phone calls like Michelle Doodle Brown is doing. Doodle Brown know damn well she ain't going up to that spot to get nothing done with them hairs up on her fucking chin that need to be plucked. Okay? Fix that. Go around there to Tara Dubrow and them, get that fixed up under there. Now, if you planning on going around there to Kenya Moore Hair Spa to get you some electrolysis and have that worked on, do that. If you're going to support a black business, really support a black business, Doodle Brown. Because I can see where Kenya is coming from. It does seem like it's harassing it, and especially if you get on TV and this is your thing to report. Excuse me, that hell, the business is not open, and you can't make an appointment. Hell, they don't want to make an appointment with you because you know damn well, even if you did go over there and get the proper services, you're gonna come back and report some negative shit. Like I said, between Melody and Stormy. There are some things that there are some things that I have not liked on Melody's line. But that does not mean I'm not going to continue to support. I'm not going to like everything. And it's fair to say what my true opinion of her stuff is. That's when you critique things and you honestly mean things that you critiquing, and you're not just critiquing just to get people not to go to their business, because that's what Doodle Brown seems to be doing. My point is, you can critique businesses as long as you're not critiquing businesses with the objective to see them fail or want to see them fail. And being that Michelle ATL and Doodle Brown is a businesswoman herself, what if, Kenya just went on her channel every day, every single day, said, oh, the content you putting out is whack. Just to look at her channel, and even if she is putting out good quality content, girl, she's over there only talking about Nene. Girl, the only thing she knows how to talk about is Nene. The only thing that she knows how to talk about positively is Nene. What if she did that? Wouldn't you consider that to be a lie? Or what if she went over there and said, well, I just really don't believe Funky Dineva went over there and tore up that lady house. That never happened. But that's what she talks about on a regular basis. It's not a time that you can go over to Doodle Brown's channel where she finds something where she could speak negatively on in reference to Kenya, Doodle Brown, that's her name. Kenya, Candy, or Funky. And I don't think, as far as I've seen, I don't think not Kenya, but I don't think Candy has ever done anything to say, let's go out here and do a smear campaign on Doodle Brown's channel and get her channel to fail, or put strikes against her channel, or made up strikes against her channel. So yes, it is a difference between positive and negative critiques, and with seeking out the purpose to destroy. And a lot of the times with Kenya and these other content creators that she's speaking of, I don't think that they are setting out an example to critique her, to uplift her. Now Kenya did give us some foreshadowing, and a lot of people believe that she is getting ready to close her business due to the fact that there's and she's having disagreements with the spa owner or the person that she's paying rent to, her landlord. And like she said, hell, it's her investment, her money. She invested. I'm with her on that. Hell, sometimes you gotta lose to win. You heard that? Also, Kenya is going to do a pop-up shop where she's going to sell some of her older clothes. Now, how is this a bad thing? A lot of stars do this. Now, I was over there around there minding my own business, probably around about season 6-ish, season 7-ish of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And Billy, with the big lips, Rema, was over there selling damn clothes out her garage. But Kenya is being critiqued because she's doing a pop-up shop down at her spa to get extra money. Hell. And shout out to 50 Cent. I'm a hustler, baby. I'm a hustler, baby. Get it how you get it. Like she said, she ain't never had to lay on her back to get a dollar. Side eye on that, because sometimes you gotta use what you got to get what you want. And Some people couldn't consider the fact that she married Mark as doing what she wanted, using what she had to get what she wanted, because we don't know where Mark came from. He just popped up out the blue and became her husband. So his question is on that. Where did he come from? Where did you come from, babe? Ooh, won't you take me there right away? Won't you, baby? Now, Kenya does have a tendency to slut shame. Call a woman a hoe in a minute. And that is so 90s behavior. We don't do that. We don't do that. Yeah, so I mean that may be what got King in trouble in the first place. That's how we got here. Slut shaming Brent. Who is this hoe? Brent Eddie is what they call it. It's not a thing anymore, especially with Me Too, to make women look bad about sexual partners. Let us do our thing. We good. And we're coming up against a sexual revolution where we're saying, hey, look, Negroes. We can do what you do and make it look good and better doing it. Because like I said in many of my other videos, the matriarchy is what keeps these countries thriving. Countries that have villages that are still surviving in villages are ran by matriarchs. The male is the person who fertilizes the egg. And in a lot of these villages, in these remote villages, the women choose what man is gonna fertilize the egg, and then all their purpose is to do is bring food back to the village. And say, Khadija don't need you. Now if you go out there in them fields and a lion eats you, or a tiger, or should I say a tiger because that's the jungle. But you know what I'm saying? A tiger eats you. Thank you for bringing his bones back to the village. Thank you so much. I don't know if this is the father of the baby or not, because there are other men who provided sperm to fertilize my egg. So we are so sorry that we are now missing one of our greatest hunters. Let's send him to be with the ancestors. Okay? And then they move right along. And the village thrives because of the women of the village. Okay? Again, in all of the tribal settings where colonization has taken place, because white men are very patriarchal and they came down from the north out of the caves in a patriarchy. Remember the caveman syndrome where they bop the woman over the head and drag her by her hair, and the knuckle dragging and all that? That's all colonization and from the colonies, from the colonizers. That is not of the southern people. So they brought their ways to the south. And when I say the south, I mean from the north. And I mean the caves of Caucasus Mountains in those areas. They did things very differently than they did in these matriarchal tribal societies. That's why you have to do research. That's why you have to read. And then when they brought their ways into those villages, they began to negotiate with the men, and that began the failures of tribal societies, because they were negotiating with the men. Okay, move right along. My point is to say that when we slut shame, we support patriarchy. We support that theory where men can go out and do anything that they want to do. sexually. And we have to be at home, rocking the babies, making sure they still have something to eat. And living in a society where and it's not coming to us and it's not of us, where monogamy is not a very real construct. Monogamy was set in place not to keep women, not to make men faithful, but to keep women faithful. To put tags on women. To put restrictions on women. Because I don't know a man in this world that I've ever met that really followed monogamy. Not one. Now, back to Kenya. So then she gets to her dream cast, right? And her dream cast is Nene. Doodle Brown, you should be happy with that, but you over there complaining on your channel. Because she picked Eva and Claudia. Have Eva and Claudia said some colorist ass shit? Yes. And I want to say that it was that season that Eva was on. She called somebody black, and I think that was Shamil. I don't remember the exact words she used, but it was something about, and she's black, and I don't mean black like black, I mean black like something else. I don't mean call her. But the point was, it was very colorist what she said. But Kenya got her right together. She did. And I love the way Kenya explained to her that even though you might have not meant it that way, because I think Eva is very bohemian chic, and I think Eva knows a lot of stuff. When they're bohemian chic like that, when I say that, I mean that they know the culture, okay? I just think at that moment, she wasn't thinking. Okay? I don't think Eva is colorist. And I don't think because Kenya came up with this list that you can be colorist by association. Because I'm pretty sure that me being from Mississippi, that I have some colorist ass friends or people that I love as colorists too. Shit, hell, we all do. It just is what it is. We go around here looking at our men all the time, making preferences, and they say, well, I just prefer light-skinned women. But why do you prefer light-skinned women? One of my cousins said, oh, black women get so mad because I don't date them darkies. I love me a good light-skinned woman, light-skinned woman. And just because I love light-skinned woman, that doesn't mean I'm colorist. I said, no, you ain't colorist. You just hate yourself. Because you came out of a dark-skinned cuckoo. Look at you. You same color as your mom. You hate your mom. No, I love my mom. But what you're saying to me is that you hate your mom because you don't want to date nobody look like your mom. That's just my preference. Child, if I hear that one more time. I told someone the other day, I was like, look at Puffy's choices. All those Asian, Blasian women. It's a certain innocence about those doe-eyed Asian women that makes black men go crazy. Again, really, idealistically, though, that's still a part of the patriarchy because for some reason, the innocence and that childlike look that they perceive Asian women have is, let's be real, letting you know that they don't really want grown-ass women. We're going to keep it real. So the nickname the Doodle Brown calls Claudia is colorist Claudia. Do I think Claudia is colorist? Yeah. No. But do have she said some colorist shit? Yeah. And it does make it, cause like what Kenya told Eva, even though Eva's parents were black, Eva presents light skin, Becky with the good hair, and light eyes. So she is in that category of women that you have to be very, very careful on how you speak about darker complected women. And so is Claudia. And then Claudia there is completely biracial. So to a black woman that is alive and awakened, those statements that you make can come off very, very disrespectful. And it can come off like you're dishonoring black women. But for the fact that Eva and Claudia hang with Kenya, I'm going to say that sometimes it's just that you're saying colorist things where you don't carry around those ideas as a way of life. Sometimes it's a difference. What I gather from Giselle and Robin when I was looking at Potomac, I make those distinguishes because it did seem as though that Robin and Giselle was so used to it, and Karen, that they didn't even realize that that's exactly what they were and what they were doing. They took on the perspective of the slave master. That's what colorism is. You take on the ideas of how the slave master separated black folks in the field slave and the house slave. That's just what it is. And when you know better, you do better. But it just seemed that Robin and Giselle wanted to sit in their ignorance about it. When Kenya educated Eva on that episode of being that it was her aesthetic that made her seem colorist more so than what she said, I think Eva really, I think she was receptive to it. Again, the problem with Giselle and Robin is they just didn't seem receptive to it. And she said Candy, because Candy is a boss. Sheree, because Sheree can spar with Kenya. I mean, with Kenya and Nene. And they still can be cool. She said herself, of course. And then she said Angela. And because Angela is the girl of the girls, and she would fit in with them because they represent the old school of what the Real Housewives of Atlanta used to be. And she said, look, Eva can read a bitch. Okay? Don't get it twisted. She held back a lot during her time on the show. And I don't think that it was just the Reeds that got Eva fired from the show. I think Eva was, I think, yeah, she held back. I will say that. I mean, she was playing it safe. I really don't even, to this day, I don't know what the hell got Claudia kicked out the show, because hell, they call her the one-hit wonder, and she was eating them up. And I don't know who talked to somebody else to got Claudia kicked out that show, because she definitely, in my opinion, had 2-3 seasons in her. At least, if not 5, at least. And same thing goes for who was I gonna say? Shamari. I miss Shamari. I don't think Shamari should have been on season 1 at all. Like I said, Claudia and Shamari, those were not one season wonder behavior, in my opinion. And Marlo just failed as a housewife. Marlo was a professional friend. Hell, she should stay where she was over there. But with Kenya, I'm going to close on Kenya, and I enjoyed the Life Twirls on. She looked amazing as usual. And let's just see where things go. I mean, see if she comes back for season 17. Like I said, I wouldn't, I give them hell coming back if I was her. I wouldn't be acting like I was desperate and shit. That's what it's looking like. I see y'all again. Maybe sometime on season 17, or I see you again on Bravo. Oh. No clothes, no clothes. Speaking of Bravo, yeah. Let me real quick go over Traitors. I see that my girl Candiace is gonna be on Traitors. I saw that Porsha is gonna be on Traitors. I'm not exactly sure what the strategy is coming in with Porsha because she ain't too bright, but let's see. And they said Dorinda is coming back. I'm not sure why. I don't know why people were so upset when Dorinda's ass got voted off the island. Because hell, she should have been voted off the island, even though that season, I wish they would try that shit again. Because I'm gonna be real damn perturbed if they try that shit with the whole house. Let's go against the housewives type shit. That strategy that they used last season was very whack. Now I was very perturbed, and then they ended up keeping Dolores' boring ass to the end. Them using that strategy is what kept Dolores' ass on the show. And they got rid of all the fun housewives. Like Dorinda, but at the same time, that wasn't something I wanted to see her back on Traitors. But Candiace is a strategist, and let's see if she'll be able to work things out with Porsha, because we all know how she did Porsha did her on the Ultimate Girls Show, running up in behind Giselle's ass and accusing that girl of stealing damn little cheap ass $250 bottle of wine. Now I'm not saying that I always carry $250 bottles of wine all over my house. That ain't how it rolls over here. I don't even drink wine like that, or tequila or whatever. But just to accuse the only other black woman in the house of stealing, that was whack. But I do believe, well, you never know. But I think Candiace will be a traitor. Wouldn't that be interesting? Okay, so now I'm going to close. And as I do when I close, I'm going to chunk them up. Deuces. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel.